Hey guys, and welcome back to Baddie and a Book. My name is Gabby, and today we have another really exciting book haul. I've got some series, some nonfiction, some YA. We got a little bit of everything. In this particular haul, I ended up going to different places like Barnes & Noble. I don't think I have any Books A Million in this one. No, I ended up going to like Barnes & Noble, Target. We ended up going to some thrift stores as always, Amazon. We got a little bit of everything. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. The first three books are nonfiction books, so we're just gonna knock these out of the way. I've been wanting to collect a little bit more nonfiction self-development style type books. So the first one I picked up is called Hood Feminine by Mickey Kendall. Now this one isn't really a self-development, but it'll be a very insightful read is what I'm hoping for. And I picked this one up from Target. The cover is really pretty. The next two are actually self-development books. They're by Mark Manson. The first one is called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, and then the second one is called Everything Is Fucked. Both of these were thrifted, and both of these are still in mint condition, which I can appreciate, but they're self-development books, so these are not meant to be like books that are supposed to be collected per se, but I really like that they came in really good condition. I found these at a local Goodwill, I believe. This one is everywhere. It's talked about, we've heard about it. This one I'm assuming is a follow-up novel to this one or a follow-up book to this one, probably because of all the hype surrounding this one, so I'm really excited to read those here soon. The next few books that I picked up are actually thrift finds, books that I found in my local Goodwill. The first one is called Breakfast with Buddha by Roland Marullo. The thing that really drew me into this one was essentially all that it is the two characters are taking a trip to their childhood, or one of their childhood home. So we have two characters, the monk and then the main character, and the main character is taking the monk on this trip to his childhood home, or her childhood home, and they're just having a conversation throughout, like we're literally just following them throughout having a conversation on this trip home, which I thought was very interesting. I don't have anything that is even close or similar to this type of book, so I was really happy to add that to my collection. The next book I picked up is called Paris for One and Other Stories by Jojo Moyes. This book is, I'm not sure if this one is a part of the series of Me After You and After, or Me Before You and After You. So I didn't read the synopsis of this one. I just saw that this was in really good condition, so I thought that I would just go ahead and pick this one up because I would like to eventually collect that whole series. The next book that I picked up, this one is in mint condition, and it was in the Amazon paperback section. It's not a popular book. I've never heard of it before seeing it in Goodwill, so it was about $4. But this one is called Spring House by Mary Ellen Taylor. Now this one follows a woman after her husband passes. She gets this project to be able to kind of she gets this opportunity to restore her great grandfather's old home, and while she is restoring this home, she actually ends up finding out a lot about her history, a lot of secrets within her family and her family tree and all of that. So I thought that that would be a really interesting premise. This one also is kind of like a thickie, but this is also an author I've never heard of, so I'm really excited to have that in my collection. The next few books I ended up picking up from Target. So the first one I picked up is called Love is a Revolution by Renee Watson. Now this one is a YA romance novel. I don't know a whole lot about this book other than the fact that I also have other books by Renee Watson, so this was just another book to add to that collection of her books so that I can eventually read all of them and see whether or not this author actually works for me or not, but I have heard really good things about that book. The next book that I picked up is called This Poison Heart by Kaylin Bayron. Now this book, I am so interested in what this book is because the main character has magic powers to be able to grow plants, which I thought was such an interesting premise. This is a YA fantasy, which is a little bit out of my comfort zone, but if I was going to start in fantasy, I figured a YA would be perfect. And I do also already have Cinderella is Dead, so I have a second book to read by her that will give me more material to read of hers rather than just having that one book. And then the last book that I picked up is called Hurricane Summer by Aisha Bromfield. Now, this book was merely a cover buy. This cover is absolutely stunning. I absolutely love it. She's a little bit of a thickie, but again, she is a YA, so the text, well, actually just kidding, because there's a lot of text on each page. But after reading the synopsis, I did notice that this book does take place in Jamaica, and it's following a father-daughter relationship. It's more of a coming of age. I believe there might be a sprinkle of romance in here somewhere, but it primarily follows her being sent to Jamaica to go see her father and live with her father for the summer, and they're developing a relationship based off of a non-existent relationship from what it sounds like. The next book that I picked up is a romance novel, and that is called More Than Words by Mia Sheridan. I already have 2 other books by her, so I thought that I would go ahead and pick up from Amazon and a 3rd book of hers so that I can read all of her books. This one is not as talked about as some of the other ones. Archer's Voice is pretty much predominantly the only one that it's talked about on BookTok and BookTube, so I do like getting books that are outside of what is just generally talked about on BookTok and BookTube, especially for popular authors, because you know, you never know, the book that everybody else might like, I might not like, so I decided to go ahead and pick that one up. I don't know a whole lot about that one other than the fact that the author wrote Archer's Voice and it is a romance novel. The next 2 books that I picked up were also these ones were also thrift finds. So I ended up picking up, and they both have a similar theme. They both take place in Paris. So this one is called The Paris Orphan and The Last Time I Saw Paris. Both of these, I don't know anything about these. I've never heard of these 2 authors. The Paris Orphan is by Natasha Lester, and then The Last Time I Saw Paris is by Lynn Sheen. Again, I don't know a whole lot about these. I'm assuming that these are going to be historical fictions based on the covers of the books. So I'm really excited to pick those up and have something different on my bookshelf. The next set of books that I picked up, now, don't follow in my footsteps and buy an entire series before reading the first book, because you could be wasting your money. But I was pretty confident in this series because all of my favorite booktubers have reviewed these books, have talked about these books, and have raved about these books. So either way, I think I'm going to thoroughly enjoy them. But I did end up going to Barnes & Noble and picking up all of the off-campus series. Now, they were having a buy one, get 50% off sale for these. So I ended up picking them up because of the buy one, get one 50% off sale. I got them for a lot cheaper than I typically would without that. And then these are the new sizes. So I think the original sizes are like taller. These ones are the newly published ones by Bloom. So I was happy to get my hands on these ones. Again, hockey romances, all of these are dual POV. We have a different couple for each one, and then I even was able to pick up the Legacy, which is the final book with all the characters at the end, like the epilogue novel. So I'm really excited to pick these ones up. I'm probably going to end up doing like a reading vlog for them. But again, all of my favorite booktubers have raved about those books, so I'm not really worried about wasting my money, but please don't do that. Of course, you're grown. You could do whatever you want with your money, but I wouldn't recommend it. I do it all the time, but whatever. The next set of books that I picked up were thrifted. Some of them I got from a second sale, and other ones I got, I believe, just from eBay off of somebody that was selling them, and they are Jodi Picoult books. I loved Jodi Picoult when I was in high school, so I am on a journey to collect all of her books. I think now I probably have like 20 or so of her books, but I ended up picking up House Rules, Lone Wolf, and then one of her newer releases, which is the Book of Two Ways. The one thing I really love about Jodi Picoult, she is a contemporary author, and all of her books have a completely different premise. Like, she has different characters for different things. As I've said in a previous haul before, like, all of her books are all something different. The characteristics of the characters are different. So, and when it comes to Jodi Picoult, I know for a fact all the books I've ever read by her I've always loved. I don't remember all of the synopses or all of my experience with them because I was in high school over 10 years ago. Not over 10 years ago, but I was in high school close to 10 years ago. So I don't remember all of that, but I do remember every single book that I ever read by her, absolutely loving it. So when it comes to thrifting her books, buying her books, it is a no-brainer to pick them up anytime I see any of her books in store. The next book series that I picked up, I actually ended up finding this on Amazon, and I believe the book series was only like 20 bucks for all three of these, and I was really excited to be able to find them in these editions because Most of these books come in either hardback or they come in like the mass market paperback, and I prefer not to purchase books that are mass market paperback. I just don't like the size. It is getting so dark. Anyways, it just got dark real fucking fast, but I ended up picking up The Godfather, The Last Dawn, and The Sicilian by Mario Puzo. Now these, I'm really excited to read these. They're not really talked about on BookTube. I didn't really find out about these on anywhere on BookTube or Bookstagram. I've always seen these around, and I've always been intrigued. And I know that The Godfather is a movie. I've seen the movie. I like the movie, so I thought I would go ahead and pick up the books and see what the difference is in between those books. The next book that I picked up is called Miss Pearlie's Girls by Rashonda Tate Billingsley. And this one, I saw this in Walmart and I was intrigued by the cover, so I just picked it up. I have no idea what this book is about, but the cover is absolutely beautiful. I love the little illustrations here and then the illustration here on the side. So period, we love that. Next set of books that I picked up, I actually ordered these off of somebody off of Facebook Marketplace, and this is the Sugar and Spice series, I think is what it's called. It's by Lauren Conrad. I didn't even know that she wrote books, but I did go ahead and pick them up. I took off the dust jackets because when I purchased these all together from one particular seller. And when the US Postal Service threw this in my mailbox is probably about the height of these books. So they threw the books in, and then when I was trying to get the bag out, it like damaged one of the dust jackets that was sitting on the outside, because it was literally like the size of my mailbox is the size of this. So having to get them out was a pain in the ass, and it was literally like the exact height of my mailbox. It came in one of the little poly mailers, so it wasn't even in like a box or anything. It was in just that, so there was no protection for the book or anything like that. So yeah, I ended up just going ahead and taking them off, and I actually prefer the way that they look on my bookshelf like this rather than with the covers. I actually prefer the naked hardbacks rather than the dust jackets. The dust jackets were okay. They weren't anything crazy, but I haven't really heard too many things about them. I don't think they have the best reviews on Goodreads or anything like that, but I thought that these would be a quick and easy read. And even if I don't like these books, they're really cool shelf decor, so I can use them for other things. I want to try to finish this video before it gets too dark. So the very last set of books that I picked up are all by Miss Ellen Hildebrand. I thrifted every single last one of these two, and I got them for such a good deal. I don't know anything about these books other than Miss Ellen Hildebrand is popular for 28 Summers, I believe, which is one of the books in this pile here. So I have Summerland, The Identicals, Here's to Us, and 28 Summers. All of these books are pretty much books that I want to read in the summer. The one thing I do know about Ellen Hildebrand is I think that she always drops books in the summer. I'm saying drops books like she drops mixtapes. She always releases her books in the summertime. So I think each book is from a different summer. I think they all take place on Nantucket, I'm pretty sure, which is where the author is from. But regardless, I'm really excited to be able to pick up all of these at some point and read them. I'll probably read them over the summertime. 28 Summers is one that I have heard a little bit about on BookTok and BookTube. I've heard mixed things about this particular book. Some people love it, some people thought it was boring, and I think Ellen Hildebrand is like a contemporary mystery author. I also have hauled the Winter in Paradise series from her as well, which is in a previous haul. So I thought I would go ahead and pick up some of her standalones. I do want to eventually pick up Summer of '69, which is another one of her books. But yeah, those are all of the books that I picked up this go around. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, please like and comment down below and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.